You are the last mammoth, your fangs curved like death's scythes, your thick fur like bloody ropes, your small eyes witnessing the end of everything. The ice melts beneath your massive paws. The world you've known for 40 years is dying, and you with it. Your brothers, skeletons bleaching in the tundra. Your herd, ghosts in the wind. You walk alone through an icy graveyard, carrying the weight of an entire species on your furry shoulders. And the small, naked bipeds are coming. With their sharp spears and their war cries, they want your fangs, your hide, your flesh. They want to erase the last breath of an era that lasted millions of years. But first, let me tell you how we got here. You were born during a blizzard that would bury mountains. Your mother, Kala, a 6-ton matriarch, scarred by 1,000 battles, pushes you out as the wind howls like spirits of death. Your first steps sink 20 inches into the fresh snow. The cold cuts your pink skin like blades of ice, but your hair is already sprouting, thick as a black forest. Kala covers you with her warm trunk, an embrace that weighs a ton but is as soft as silk. "Little Tuck," she murmurs in low sounds that make your chest vibrate. "This world has been ours for 3 million years, and it will be yours too." Lie. A mother's sweet lie. The herd is made up of 40 furry giants, moving like a living storm. Cousin matriarchs protect their young in the center. Adult males patrol the edges, tusks like ivory spears gleaming in the Arctic sun. You learn to march, step after step over the eternal permafrost, following ancestral roots etched in ice and memory. Your paws, wide as plates, distribute your growing weight over the snow, each footprint a mark that you belong here. At 2 years old, you weigh half a ton. Your hair grows in layers, an undercoat as dense as velvet, middle hairs as stiff as wire, and outer hairs as long as ropes swaying in the wind. You're a walking fortress of flesh, bone, and fur. But the world is already changing. The ice isn't as thick in winter. The snow melts earlier in spring. Tiny, unfamiliar flowers bloom where once there was only eternal ice. The matriarch sniffs the air, her trunk curved like a giant question mark. "Something's different," she huffs, steam escaping from her nostrils. "But we survived the last ice age. We'll survive this one too." Another lie. This time from a matriarch too wise to believe her own words. At age 5, during a spring migration, you find the skeletons, hundreds of them, mammoth bones bleaching in the sun, scattered across the tundra like seeds of death, skulls the size of barrels, broken tusks pointing skyward like accusing fingers, ribs bent like dead tree branches. "Disease," the matriarch lies again. But you see the spear marks on the bones, the precise stab wounds, the surgical cuts where the ivory was removed. The small bipeds don't just kill for food, they kill for trophies. At 8, you grow your first real tusks, a foot of solid ivory sprouting from your jaw like twin swords. You use them to break ice, debark trees, and fend off rivals. Kala teaches you to fight. Headbutts, lunges, fangs crossed like swords. "A male without tusks," she snarls, "is just meat waiting to be eaten." Prophetic, your fangs will be your death sentence. The first attack comes during a brutal winter. You're 12 years old, weigh 4 tons of muscle, and are furious. The herd is grazing in a sheltered valley when they arrive. 30 small, agile figures gliding through the snow like bipedal wolves. Animal skins covering lean bodies. Spears with razor-sharp stone tips. Small, intelligent eyes calculating angles of death. They don't attack head-on. They're too clever. They throw spears into the flanks, making the herd move in panic. They separate the young from the adults. A spear pierces Kala's left eye. She stumbles, 6 tons of flesh and despair collapsing into the snow. Warm blood melts the ice into red puddles. You charge, fangs low, head like a battering ram. A biped flies 10 meters, its back broken with a snap. Another disappears, crushed beneath your paws. But there are many of them, and fast, like deadly mosquitoes biting a bear. By the time the slaughter is over, half the herd is dead. Kala lies dying in the snow, her breath ragged. You lie beside her, trunk entwined with hers. Run, she whispers with her last breath. Run and don't stop. You run, alone for the first time. 4 tons of loneliness galloping across the endless tundra. Years pass like seasons. You survive by eating bitter lichens, frozen roots, and dry twigs. Your fur grows thicker, darker. Spear scars mark your flanks like war maps. You avoid other mammoths, they are targets. You avoid humans, they are death. You live like a ghost of your own kind, but there is no hiding from time. The ice melts faster every year. Rivers flow where glaciers once stood. Forests sprout in the tundra. The world cools in winter, but heats up in summer. Your body, designed for extreme cold, suffers in the heat. You drool, you pant, your hair comes out in clumps, like a winter coat worn in the desert. At 25, you encounter other survivors. 3 males, 2 females, 2 calves. The last 8 mammoths of a population that once numbered millions. You huddled together instinctively, a desperate mini-herd. But it's too late for numbers. Humans have multiplied like plagues. Their villages dot the landscape. Their fires burn day and night. And they learned. Now they use traps. Holes covered with branches that crumble under the weight of a mammoth. Leather nooses that snag on paws. Poison-tipped arrows that kill slowly, agonizingly. One by one, his companions fall. Jogan, the alpha male, sinks into a trap and is executed with spears. Mira and her cubs starve to death when a scorching summer kills all the vegetation. Kor is hunted by a pack of 50 humans for 3 days until he collapses from exhaustion. At 35, you're alone again. The last male mammoth in a world that has no place for you. You wander through empty territories, calling into the void. Your sound, a low roar that echoes for miles, receives no response. Only the echo of your own loneliness returning from the icy mountains. Sometimes you find ancient mammoth footprints in the ice, preserved like frozen memories. You follow them until they disappear, hoping to find others of your kind. But they always lead to skeletons. The world changes around you. The plants you've eaten your whole life disappear, replaced by strange species you can't digest. Rivers change course. Ice mountains become lakes. You're a living dinosaur walking on an alien planet. At 40, your body begins to fail. Joints creak like dry twigs. Tusks, now majestically curved and measuring 7 feet, weigh down your head like anchors. Your hair turns gray and sparse. You move slowly, like a weary mountain. Every step hurts. Every breath is an effort. But you keep going, because to stop is to admit the end. One winter morning, warmer than the summers of your youth, you smell it. Smoke. Roasting meat, humans. You should run. Your instincts scream to flee, but your paws are too tired. Your heart is too big, too old. And a part of you, the part that carried the weight of a dead species for 40 years, is ready.
They appear on the horizon like ants, dozens of them, spears gleaming like teeth. They stop running when they see you. They whisper to each other, point to their prey. To them, you're not the last of a 3 million-year-old lineage. You're walking ivory, a trophy, a story to tell your grandchildren.
You don't run. Steam coming from your nostrils, staring at them. 40 years of solitude weigh on your shoulders. 40 years carrying the ghost of a species. They approach slowly, cautiously. They know that even old and tired, you can crush them. One last charge could take 3 or 4 with you. But you don't invest. You crouch down, paws folded, head down, like Kala did when you were a kitten and hid beneath her during storms. A protective position that is now just surrender. The first spear pierces his neck, sharp, hot pain. Blood trickles through his gray hair. The second hits his ribs, the third his side. You don't scream. Mammoths don't scream. Just a low, deep sigh. The sound of a species exhaling its last breath. You fall slowly. 4 tons of history collapsing into the snow, and so it ends. The last mammoth, the end of an era, the final echo of a world that was. In 1,000 years, they'll find your bones and wonder how something so massive could simply disappear. They'll speculate about climate change, disease, meteors. They'll never admit the simple truth. They killed you, all of you, one by one, spear by spear, until there was none left.